All right, today we're going through the directory and really trying to talk about how to properly handle modules in Python. So I have a bad example up here to start with, and then we'll kind of go through the actual example next. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run this, and you'll see it work because I've done some magic to make this work, but I'm not doing anything special. All I'm doing is transforming some names here using a util and a transform, and we'll see what it does. So if I run this, right, there's a bunch of spaces here. It just basically cleans that up for the array. So there's a helper, clean name, and then gives it title case, right? And then over here in the pipeline, I have a pipeline that runs. And run pipelines takes a list of names and returns clean name for name and names. All right, we got this little shortcut here that returns it back. Now, if I run this directly with names, right, this should work. So if I run directly, you'll notice it works. And the reason it works is because of this silly thing right here. It's an anti-pattern. You'll have it sprinkled all over your code if you don't know how to do imports correctly. And what I mean by that is if I get rid of this, it's going to say import not found. Okay, so if I get rid of that, you'll see no module found, no module named utils, because it doesn't know about utils. So the robot or somebody who's struggled with this in a bad way before will give you this sys.append, join the path, and that basically lets it find everything around. But that's not the canonical solution. It's actually an anti-pattern, so you don't have them everywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this bad example, and I'm going to start fresh for sure. So let's see if that refreshed. Oh, good. It did not. Why did it not get rid of it? RMRF bad example should go away. Oh, I know why. Because I had set CD when I was down inside of it. So I can actually go over here because I'm already inside of it. And I can run that. And now everything goes away. Okay. And these are gone. And now we're going to start fresh and do the same exact kind of thing, but I'll show you how it should be set up in the real world and how to really make those modules connect with each other. And again, we're going to use UV. UV is going to be my go-to here because it makes life really easy when it comes to this and get everything set up. Okay, so the fix here is to make your package an installable package. Back in the days, it was like pip install -e space period would make your package an installable package, and you do some magic and everything would go around. The new command for that, I'm going to use UV. UV init package. Oops. Package. Now, if you just do UV init, you'll get a flat folder and a main in there. That's not really what I want here. I want a source directory with my code inside kind of automatically. So it has done it for me. You'll notice I have this source folder in modern Python. It used the name of my actual folder above it as the module name. And then init.py, it's going to be empty. It just signifies that there is a module here. And actually it's not empty. It's running my def main inside the init.py, but it signifies that you have a module there. And a lot of times it will be empty. You don't put anything in there. Sometimes you do put things in there. And that's a conversation for a different video. But right now, that is the first step of how it kind of set everything up. Now let's look at PyProject TOML. So the name is that, the version is there, description I could add. It's saying that the README is a README. It made a README. It initialized a repo. You'll want to do a git ignore. But modern Python, it requires UV build. So there's a build system here. And the backend build is that. So when you build, it realizes exactly what, where it's building and what it's building from. So you don't have to really point a lot of things and do a lot of things. It's kind of the brain of the project. It tells it tells Python, hey, this is a package, and here's the package name. The source layout isolates your code. Your Python version pins your version. You'll notice I'm using 3.12 here. And then once I do my first sync, what we've seen before, you'll get your UV lock and those kind of things. So I'm going to do the same exact structure as before. I'm going to make some directories here. So let's make some directories. Okay, I'm going to make a directory. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, that's fine. But I need to make this. This needs to be. This becomes modern Python patterns. And I'll show you something in a second. This is for all you command line people. For me, I normally just go up here, right click on it, new folder, and then I'll put my transform up here. Okay, that's how I'm going to do that. Now each one of these, again, I need to do a new file. I need to do an init.py to signify that it is a module. This is a lot of ceremony. There are namespace modules. That's, again, a topic for a different video. So that's kind of where we're at now. This init.py gives you these as modules. And my next step here is to fill in the code that I had before, and I'll just go ahead and fill that in and come right back. Okay. So you'll notice I went ahead and filled it out so you didn't have to rewatch me, but there's nothing magic that I did differently. This is my main again. I emptied out all of my inits. They're just there for letting Python know that those are modules. My helper is just clean name. My Python, you'll notice that I'm importing from modern Python patterns, .utils, .helpers. There's no underlining issues here. There's no linter errors. And then there's my init.py. So if I run this from there, then I should get the same kind of results I did a minute ago. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. I'm going to go ahead and modern Python. So I'm going to UV run. And I'm going to UV run the command. We have the script and the thing, so I'm going to do that. And you'll notice it has built the modern Python, and then it says cannot import name main from modern Python patterns. Oh, because of, hold standby, in my Py project toml, this is saying main, so that should be, okay, so what I need to do here, I go to my Py project toml. So actually I'm just going to make this main. I'm going to show you guys a couple things. I did this earlier. I'll put it back to init for a second. Basically what I need to do here is .main, and I should have did .init earlier, so I have main, and now if I run it, in theory, it works. Okay, so what the problem here was is that I didn't have the file itself that I was using. Now what I can do, just to show you guys, is I can take this out of my main folder and I can put it in my init.py. Okay, and I can delete this completely, and I can go back to my Py project toml, and I can get rid of the file reference of main, and it just sees what's at this top level. Like you see, these are empty. Whoops, where's it at? Sorry, that's PyCatch. As you can see, these are empty, right? My init.py, let me close others, and you can see that this init.py is empty. There's nothing there, but for my base one, I could put my main in here, and then I can just run this again, and I get it correctly because I have it in this init.py. That's where it's pulling from, but I could also do a dot and then give you the name of the file, and it would pull that main function. That's what this part is this actual main function. But now we can run it in a few different ways, and we don't have to worry about it giving us modules not found. Now we're going to find all the modules, and we can run, because before the hang up here was this guy where we ran this and it couldn't find this utils, this helper over here. Okay, and so now we're over here. I had to print output, and then before we just had it to where it was running it, but I print output here. So you'll notice there's no magic sys.os here. Everything's here, and I just run this, and I should get results. I do. Okay, so I get the same results as I would have when I ran it with the sys.os and all the lines and imports. So everything is building like I expect. Now, UV run, it does a build when you do UV run. So you saw earlier, even though it was failing, and I'll show you because I do these kind of live, it builds this. And this build is what allows it to kind of know where everything is in the project. Okay, so I run it, I get a UV lock, tells a little bit about the package, it's editable. That was the old school way, was the pip install -e, which made it editable, and you put a dot there, and now this kind of handles that for you when you run it. When you do a UV sync, it will do the same thing, but I don't really have anything here that I worry about. It's my personal email if y'all want it. I never mind. You guys reaching out to me directly, or you can use my Daniel@Loughran.com. But this is the proper way to set up your folder structure in a way where you don't have to figure out which path to add before the import to know exactly where it's coming from. Anything you do here will handle your imports automatically. So this is kind of the modern way to do it without being a little hacky. Why it works is the PyProject Toml UV, there's a build system, the UV build system. So when you run UV sync, UV run, it installs the project into the virtual environment in editable mode. Okay, so that's what we saw earlier, that editable and the period. So that means that Python's import systems can find my pipeline the same way it finds requests or pollers. You're just, it's a real package that you've installed. So some of the key takeaways when you're doing UV init with no flags is just flat main.py. It's not installed. That's where imports are still fragile. It's more for scripts. If you want this full nice source layout, you need to use UV init package. It's package mode, has a build system. UV init --lib is for libraries. You don't get a project scripts. It's for libraries you import, not for things you run. So if you were going to build a PyPI library that you were going to publish, that would be your common choice. But the rule is simple. If you have more than one file that imports from other files, you're going to use UV init package. You might have heard that Python doesn't need the init.pys anymore. Basically, those are because there's namespace dependencies. But for your DE projects or for any projects you're doing, just keep them. Explicit's better. For performance, regular packages load immediately. Namespace packages scan everything inside. So if it sees this init.py, it loads it automatically. And then we'll talk about rough in a future video. Rough has a rule that warns about missing init.pys because it's a common source of bugs. And they can be empty, right? You literally just create it and move on. When you would use namespace packaging, is splitting a single logical package across multiple PyPI distributions. So think like google.cloud.storage and google.cloud.bigquery. So it's an advanced packaging concern. We'll cover it in videos later. It's nothing that if you're at this part of the series that you're going to be using anytime soon. And so that's kind of